A very blessed morning and very good to see you again here on NBS Breakfast Meeting. This morning we have quite an important conversation that we're going to have in any functioning democracy really, justice is not just expected, it is essential. But what happens behind the scenes to ensure that Uganda's judicial system remains professional, ethical, and even accountable? Well, this morning we are going to focus on an important yet sometimes overlooked institution, the Judicial Service Commission, or what we call the JSC, a constitutional body mandated to advise, appoint, discipline, and bridge the gap between the public and the judiciary. Now, from ensuring the integrity of judicial officers and handling public complaints and improving access to justice, the Commission plays a key role in how justice is served and all around the country, rather. Now, joining me this morning to unpack that mandate and the operations of the JSC are two legal experts from the Commission, Mr. Jonahan Luleti as Principal Legal Officer and Ms. Patra Alinda, who is the Legal Officer. Welcome to the breakfast meeting.
Thank you, Victoria.
Thank you, Vicky. Good morning, viewers.
Absolutely. Now, I'm excited to have this conversation because I get to learn a little more about the JSC. And Jonah, let's go ahead and begin with the basics, right? What exactly is the Judicial Service Commission and what does it do?
Okay, thank you. The Judicial Service Commission is an institution established under the Constitution. The Constitution actually clarifies the people who compose or who head this institution, and one of them is the chairperson, who should be qualified to be a justice of the Supreme Court. Then we have a deputy chairperson, we have the Attorney General, we have a member representing the judiciary, we have 2 members representing the public, we also have 2 members representing the Uganda Law Society. I guess you've been seeing campaigns
Yes.
ongoing for suitable candidates. And then we also have a permanent secretary who heads actually the secretariat where we fall. Yeah, so largely that's the Judicial Service Commission and that's its composition. Of course, we also have technical staff like Patra and I and many others. Yes, and
So in that case, what's the core mandate of the JSC?
okay.
Is it in just the appointments, or what are break it down for us in simple terms? What is the core mandate for the JSC?
Wow, thank you. So the judiciary, or our judiciary, has a number of judicial officers, let me say. We have justices of the Supreme Court, Court of Appeal, High Court, and then we also have other persons there, for example, the Chief Justice, the Deputy Chief Justice, the Principal Judge. So the Judicial Service Commission plays an advisory role. These people are appointed by the President, but before they are appointed by the President, the JSC receives declarations from the judiciary, and then we conduct interviews. We have a basis. We have a basis upon which to recommend suitable candidates to the President for appointment. This process is actually a bit laborious. You know, very many people, we receive quite a number of applications, and by the time a person is received to be suitable for appointment by the President, they have gone through a clear-cut process. Now, apart from those that are appointed by the President, there are other cadres that are appointed by the Judicial Service Commission, and these include the Chief Magistrate, the Magistrate Grade 1s, and there are cadres in there. There is Senior Principal Magistrate Grade 1, Senior Magistrate Grade 1, and we also have other staff of the judiciary. All staff of the judiciary are appointed by the Judicial Service Commission. So we have that appointment role that we play as the Judicial Service Commission. But apart from advising the President on appointment and us ourselves appointing as the JSC, the Constitution allows us to exercise what we call a disciplinary control mandate. Yeah, so it gives us some sort of check and balance. You appoint, these people are independent, but then there is a check on their authority. Okay. So we also advise, those that are appointed by the President, we advise the President to exercise that mandate. And those that are appointed by the JSC actually exercises that mandate. There's some sort of a check and balance to make sure that we do not have excesses and abuse of power and authority.
Let's get back into that particular space, because we know that, of course, accountability is very critical, and that includes some disciplinary actions in some cases, I guess. But what types of misconduct, and perhaps Patra, you can go into this one, what kind of misconduct or disciplinary offences are we actually dealing with that are brought against judicial officers, perhaps, that we might not know about as normal Ugandans?
Okay, so first of all, we do not bring actions against only judicial officers, but also staff of the judiciary. For example, court clerks, process servers, secretaries, as long as anyone works in the judiciary. So what are some of these offenses? If, for example, you're a habitual latecomer, you go to court.
That as
yes, you go to court every day at 12 p.m. From Monday to Friday, month 1 to month 12. Once the court users have a complaint against you, they'll bring it to the Judicial Service Commission, and we can hear such a matter.
And by the court users, you mean us?
Yes,
okay.
The public.
Okay.
Another disciplinary offense that we have, if, for example, you conduct bias or you're discriminatory in your rulings, while we do not intervene in the judicial independency, we consider that while you're coming to this decision of yours, you must have conducted it in a free and fair way. You're not biased, you're not discriminatory in any nature. Also, if you conduct yourself in a manner that is against the ethics, we have the Judiciary Code of Conduct. If, for example, you're conducting yourself in a manner that is not within the code of conduct as expected in the judiciary service, then we can bring that offense. If you divulge official information to unauthorized persons, we have people who go ahead and give rulings before they are decided to people who are not authorized to have them, then we can bring an offense. We can have an offense against you, hear that case and determine it.
Have you dealt with any form of bribery, any form of corruption within the judiciary?
Yes, actually, we have certain cases of judicial officers and staff of the judiciary who have been held, reprimanded or suspended because offenses were against them in regard to corruption. As long as there is evidence against you, then we shall be able to hear the matter and determine.
Well, then let's get into that then. How then is the misconduct proven in the first place? What are those disciplinary actions, perhaps, that are taken against them? As you're saying, some of them suspended. What is there more that is done?
Okay, so when a case is brought to us by the public or even us ourselves, we can find out about that complaint, or even the judiciary sometimes, by the way, forwards these complaints. We investigate. Once we investigate and we find that there is a culpable offense, we have what we call a disciplinary committee. That disciplinary committee conducts a hearing into these matters, and once you are found that you are culpable, the commission sanctions you. How do they sanction you? One, you can actually, a judicial officer may be dismissed from their work. This year alone, we are in April, but this year alone, the Judicial Service Commission has dismissed 2 judicial officers.
No.
Yes. Apart from dismissal, there is what we call a suspension. The Judicial Service Commission can suspend that judicial officer or the non-judicial officer for a particular period of time. Then there's what we call a severe reprimand. A severe reprimand is some sort of a last warning of sorts. Yeah. So we are reprimanding you, and it's severe, and it's a sort of a last warning. Any other offense which the commission finds you culpable of, you'll be dismissed. Then there's what we call a reprimand, there's what we call a caution, there are what we call compensations. You know, sometimes these matters involve, you know, allegations, this one took my money, you know, such instances. We say, no, you know what, you caused an injustice, you better compensate the aggrieved party. There's what we call a warning, there's also a written undertaking. You can make a written undertaking. And to make matters worse, once a judicial officer is dismissed from their work, we publicize. You know, we want the public to know. We don't want people to be out there holding out as judicial officers, yet they are not. But the difference is, if it's a severe reprimand, if it's a reprimand, there we do not publicize, because we have to maintain the confidence. We have to maintain the public confidence in the judiciary. We don't want to, you know, be declaring, you know, CBI has been reprimanded. Now it's a severe reprimand. Now, Is there any way, is there a license taken away or anything like that? That does happen, or can this particular person go back and continue to practice? when you're dismissed from public service, you cannot be employed again in the public service. At least that's what I know according to the standing orders. But also now, if you are dismissed as a judicial officer, then if you want to practice as an advocate, that's a matter for the law council. Now the law council will handle that matter to determine whether you are fit and proper to practice as an advocate or not. But largely, I think you wouldn't be fit and proper to practice as an advocate if you've been dismissed as a judicial officer.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, besides appointments and the disciplinary that you're talking about, you also have a role to play, obviously a civic role to play in particular. Now, can you tell us a little bit more about how the Commission engages the public, perhaps educates citizens, as we're doing right now, as the conversation we're having, and also how do you receive feedback?
Okay, so first of all, one of our mandates is to prepare and implement programs for the education of the public and the judiciary on law and administration of justice. How do we do this? Because the public is large, we look at the various reports from the key stakeholders that are in law and administration of justice. For example, the police, annual police report, we'll look at the judiciary reports every year, and then we'll see what are the issues in law or administration of justice that are of high concern to the people. And then we look at what are the main districts that we can tackle. For example, we'll say maybe in 2024, the district of Kasese had the highest rate of land wrangles. So we'll prepare information on land justice and visit the district, the local council, the local councillors, the district leaders, even the people at sub-county level. We teach them. We also go to prisons. We do inmate sensitization because they are part of the criminal justice system, but we also conduct radio talk shows and television talk shows like this one, so that people are able to know, not just that Judicial Service Commission is for appointing judiciary, but from our constant programs, they can be able to learn a thing. For example, I think previously we had one with NBS on section gender-based violence. Yes. We had another one on criminal justice system. So we implore people to always watch and be able to pick one or two things. So yes, that's how we...
Let's give it a bit of a live, I guess, example. For instance, I think a month ago or so, a particular UN judge who happens to be Ugandan, who was then arrested for allegedly, I guess, modern-day slavery in that case. In her case, for instance, she is in the judiciary, but obviously serving in the UN, but also she's a Ugandan. What are those ties? As the JSC, do you guys have anything to do with that? Is there some form of disciplinary? Do you call her back? Or what do you do in that case? Please shine some light into that.
Okay. For that, I don't want to delve much into it because, you know, lawyers, we have something called sub judice, but the Commission is actually handling it. Okay. So maybe at the appropriate time, we'll leave the Commission to communicate. Okay. So I will not delve very much into it.
No, that's good to say that the Commission is handling it. We thought perhaps the public might be thinking, oh, we don't have anything to do with it, and I'm glad that you clarify that you are dealing with it in that case. Now, if someone feels aggrieved, for instance, I don't want to use this one as an example again, but if someone felt aggrieved and they had that kind of complaint, can people make those complaints anonymously, or where do they actually go? Do they call you, or who do they go to?
Okay, so we have different ways you can report a matter to the Judicial Service Commission. One, we have what we call a toll-free number, which you can contact us. You can use to contact us. That's 0800 100 222. But also you can visit our offices at Kingdom, Kampala, just on Nile Avenue. You can visit our offices. Two, you can write a complaint and send to us via our email info@jsc.go.ug. You can actually, even if you don't understand English, you can tell someone to write for you, or you may just write and come and thumbprint, or you can just visit our offices. We have people who understand all sorts of languages, so they can make sure that they reduce that complaint in writing for you. Of course, you know, we are dealing, issues of justice are interesting. There is court matters. When you go to court, there is a winner and a loser. So sometimes you find that the person has lost the case and they have lost genuinely. And but they are, you know, clutching at straws, you know. So they will file a complaint and we investigate it. Of course, we have to investigate to make sure we don't cause an injustice to the judicial officer to be dismissed from their work, yet they did their work properly. So we have to investigate those matters. Once it's filed, it's not had there and then. We investigate, we go through the nitty-gritties to make sure that justice is done. So those are some of the ways a person can file a complaint with the Judicial Service Commission. But also, what Patra talked about, you know, we do this civic education. Many times I ask the people we interact with, who is your best lawyer? Which lawyer do you like? And they will mention all these lawyers. But then when we ask you, can you afford that lawyer? Usually they'll tell you, I can't afford the lawyer. So what we do, what the government says is that let Judicial Service Commission be in place to advise. They pay lawyers, then we can give free advice. We don't represent, but we give the free advice, the free legal advice. Oh, how do you go about this land dispute? My case is in court. I applied for bail. I have not gotten my bail money back. You know, the case is at this point. Is it proper or it is not proper? You know, how a judgment was delivered, but I've never seen a physical copy of the same. You know, those instances. You can of course report to us, and we will follow up the matter to make sure that justice
I think when
is
it comes to
delivered.
matters like this, a lot of people in the public would worry perhaps even about transparency. How does the Commission actually ensure that there is that transparency, especially if some of the hearings are private and are not in public at all? How do you actually ensure that there is that sense of transparency? Because it is important, I guess, for us as well.
Okay, so in as far as transparency is concerned, the Commission never handles a matter without the presence of the complainant. You know, the judiciary largely rides on its image. You know, the judiciary, there must always be confidence in the judiciary. Yeah? So, but sometimes if a complaint has been filed, sometimes it does not have merit, and then you are busy publicizing it. You know, it does not augur very well. So these matters are handled confidentially, but in the presence of the complainant and the respondent, or the judicial officer or the non-judicial officer affected. So in as far as that is concerned, we handle it that way. But also, we have annual reports we file with Parliament. We have annual reports we file on our websites. But when, as I mentioned earlier, when a judicial officer is dismissed, we tell the public. Recently, we received some good feedback. There was a disciplinary matter which was handled. The judicial officer was disciplined. We received a lot of good feedback, and we appreciate the public, and we encourage you to kindly give us that information. But also, you don't only contact the Judicial Service Commission when you have complaints. Okay. You can also contact the JSC when you want to appreciate a judicial officer. You know, you say, we are appreciative of this judicial officer. They are doing a good job. We receive those, and there are very, very many. We receive those, and of course we act accordingly, depending on the report.
Has there been a rise, perhaps, in the complaints? I know we also want to hear the good things, but what has been the statistics when it comes to the complaints so far? Are people really conducting themselves in the way that they should, or are the complaints rising and rising even much more?
No, actually, now I think we are at a point where people had complaints over the years, but now we are at a point where the judiciary also knows that they have to conduct themselves within the expected conduct as the judiciary service. So the complaints are not as many as they used to be, because we have these constant education programs with the people. So the judiciary is also aware of the fact that the people now know that in case of anything, they can report to Judicial Service Commission, which is a good thing. Now we don't have as many complaints as before.
Okay.
Yes.
And so I guess what would hinder the JSC from actually fulfilling its mandate? Is there something that the public does perhaps that hinders or makes it more challenging for you to fulfill your mandate?
Okay, one of the things that actually hinders us very much is the silence. Sometimes the silence in the public, you know. Something happens, this person files a complaint, a very good complaint with the JSC. We start investigating. Then maybe once the matter is determined in their favor at the end of the day, or someone files a complaint but they don't follow up, we contact them, please come and we need this evidence, we need this, then they don't follow up with those matters. It becomes very, very difficult for us to continue prosecuting such a matter when the complainant is not aiming that much. Of course, there are other issues we have. For example, we're having a challenge with the composition of the commission. You know, the Uganda Law Society has not yet sent its members to the president for appointment. That's a challenge in its own, because previously the members of the Uganda Law Society chair the disciplinary committee. So that's a challenge we are having. to handle those disciplinary matters. So they are at a halt, but the Commission is still discussing to see how to expedite that. There are other challenges to do with finances and all that, but you know, resources are never enough everywhere. Yes. Also, the Commission oversees a very big institution, the Judiciary. The Judiciary is all over the country, And the government, we are imploring the key stakeholders like Parliament to also increase our budget accordingly to make sure that we also catch up, because the Judiciary has a very big budget and they are all over the country, and the Commission is still underfunded. So it's our plea to Parliament, to other stakeholders, to please at least increase the budget of the Commission to make sure that we exercise our mandate faithfully.
I mean, one would think absolutely that it's a very important work, because when you're a judge or somebody up in that space, one might think you don't have anybody checking you. And of course, that's where the JSC comes in.
Yes.
As we just end the show, like, what is it that you want Ugandans to know, each of you, especially, yes, about the Commission, but like, what do you want Ugandans to specifically know from now on? Yes.
Okay, let me start. I want Ugandans to know that, one, Judicial Service Commission offers free legal advice. We do not represent them, but we offer free legal advice. People complain that, oh, the law protects the rich, but you can come to us, we'll guide you. We'll not represent you in court, but we'll guide you. And then the second thing, I want people to always contact Judicial Service Commission. We are an independent body established by the Constitution, and we do not have any other ties. We will not listen to your matter in regard to other people. We will listen to you as a complainant and handle your matter.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you, Patra. Now, there is something I want the public out there to know. There is usually one place we all meet, and that's court. The poor and the rich meet in court. The winner of the election and the loser of the election
meet in court.
Will meet in court. The one driving a Land Cruiser and the one footing, we can always meet in court. But I want to advise the public to always watch our courts to make sure that they are functioning well. Also to know that these judicial officers don't have absolute power and absolute authority. There is a check on their authority. And that one institution tasked to check that authority of the judicial officers when it's abused is the Judicial Service Commission. So do not be out there in the villages, in the sub-counties, languishing, saying, you know, we have left these matters to God. No, the JS is here to help you. Please contact us always. I'll just repeat this number, 0800 100 222. Once you don't need airtime to call it, all you need is a network and a charged phone. Kindly contact us, it's toll free. We'll be able to help you. With that, thank you very much.
Thank you. So in other words, the JSC is accessible. It's not just for a particular type of people. It is accessible to everyone.
Very true.
Well, thank you so much for joining me this morning on the breakfast meeting. That's Mr. Luleti and Ms. Alinda for really shedding some light on the important work of the Judicial Service Commission. I mean, from ensuring professionalism in the judiciary to protecting public interest and even promoting access to justice, the Commission remains a cornerstone of Uganda's justice system, if I should say. And to you who's watching us, remember that justice isn't just about the courts, it's also about the systems behind them. So stay informed, stay engaged, and don't be afraid to speak up when something doesn't feel right. From me, Victoria Sabia, may the Lord bless you, keep you, make his face shine upon you, be gracious to you. Goodbye, and God bless.